Welcome, everyone, to Gaelic Park. I'm Michael Grabowski. I'm the chair of the communication department here at Manhattan College, and this is Whitman on Walls. This is the inaugural event celebrating 100 years in the Bronx for Manhattan College. Manhattan College was founded in 1853 in the Five Points region to educate children who normally would not have an education. It moved up to the Washington Heights area in the late 19th century, and when the IRT, what we now know as the One Train, was built right here behind us, this terminal, Manhattan College decided to move its campus to the Bronx so that everyone in the city could have access to education. This is a really special night tonight. We have 7 amazing poets here. I'd like to just introduce you to the poets. Tonight we're going to be hearing from Haydil Henriquez, who is the inaugural BRONX Poet Laureate. She also works at Scholastic at the Art and Writing Awards. So thank you for joining us. I just have a quick announcement about Haydil. Please do not photograph Haydil, as she is undergoing a religious initiation and cannot be photographed. We also have David Mills with us. He's the author of the award-winning collection Boneyard, the first book of poems about slavery in New York City. So welcome, David. We also have with us Mariposa Fernandez, who is a Bronx-born Afro-Puerto Rican poet and is currently a Mellon Fellow. So welcome, Mariposa. We also have 2 alumni from Manhattan College. We have J.C. Pozo-Olano. He's a Filipino-Peruvian writer and poet who aims to celebrate the simple, common lines of connectivity that bring together our everyday lives. Welcome, J.C. We also have alum Gabriella DePinho, who is a journalist by training and a writer by instinct. So welcome, Gabriella. 2 of our poets are faculty at Manhattan College. We have Dominika Wrozynski, who is an associate professor of English at Manhattan College, where she teaches creative writing, there we go, and literature, and co-directs the Major Author Reading Series. We also have Melinda Wilson, who is a visiting assistant professor of English at Manhattan College, is the author of Amplexus from Dancing Girl Press, and runs the Poor Mouth Writer Series right up the hill at Onbielbach in Riverdale. So tonight, all 7 of these poets are going to be responding to excerpts from Walt Whitman's Song of Myself. We'll learn a little bit more about how this show works from the artistic director of Campagnia de Colombari, Karin Coonrod. She will be joining us shortly here. So welcome, Karin. There are many people to thank to do a show like this. And so I'd like to thank our sponsors here, the Communication Department and English Department at Manhattan College. Round of applause for them. Digital Arts and Humanities, Art History and Digital Media Art, the Music and Theater Department, Peace and Justice Studies, the Holocaust, Genocide, and Interfaith Education Center, the New York State Council on the Arts, the Bronx Council for the Arts, and we're going out live right now on BronxNet. So thank you, BronxNet. This event is made possible with generous support from the Manhattan College Office of the President, Office of Academic Affairs, and the Office of Student Engagement, as well as Jasper Athletics, who is allowing us to be here tonight on Jasper Park. Student Engagement has provided all the vittles over there on the side, so if you haven't gotten any, please feel free to partake. I'd also like to thank all of our poets, as well as our interim president, Brother Daniel Gardner, for making this happen. Thank you. From the Provost's office, William Clyde and Ronnie Roy, thank you. From Student Engagement, Ronald Gray and John Bennett, thank you. Lydia Gray. The director in our truck is Joe Ruggiero. So let's make sure he can hear us all the way back there. Thank you, Joe. Jeff Anderson is our video engineer, is the reason why this screen is existing right now, and we're seeing a signal on it. Thank you. I'd like to thank to the chairs of the departments that I just mentioned, Adam Kohler, Maeve Adams, Manaz Afridi, Nuwan Giacorini, Daniel Savoy, Marianne Riley, the athletic director, Junior Salzar, who's letting us use this field, and Bree, thank you very much for turning off the lights so we can see our screen. David Arosa, John Conklin, David and Jane Caston, Emily Gerbal, Stuart Waldman, Livy Mann, Ted Harden, Elizabeth Kaufman, and many, many others. Thank you so much for making this possible this evening. So I've done a lot of things. I just want to say before I turn this over to Karin that this park used to host concerts here back in the 1970s. On this field played Deep Purple, The Grateful Dead, Fleetwood Mac, Jefferson Airplane. Anyone else? Many great bands were here. And so I'm very excited that for the first time since the 70s, we're having a performance take place again on this field. So thank you all for being here for this. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the artistic director of Campagnia de Colombari, Karin Coonrod.
Thank you, Michael. And can you hear me? Yes? Okay. No. Hello? Can you hear me? Yes, okay. Thank you, Michael. It's wonderful to be here in at Manhattan College in Gaelic Park, where the red trains come to rest, where there are ball games usually, and to bring a piece of performance. Our company was born in Italy and is based in New York City. And our reason for starting all this was to raise voices for democracy. When we started this in 2007, 8, something like that, and were inspired by Walt Whitman, who in 1855 was very concerned about the polarization of the country and wrote this extraordinary poem to really investigate what it is to be an American and how to move forward, not only as an individual, but also in community. We performed the piece all around New York City for free for many years, and then during pandemic, we put it with 50 plus performers on film and delivered it for free into people's living rooms. And it was an extraordinary experience for us then too. And now that we are emerging from pandemic, not quite out, but we're emerging, and we created this hybrid event in which we have 7 extraordinary poets responding to the words of Whitman, in dialogue with Whitman, about what it is to be American, what it is to pursue interdependence, and the importance of that. So tonight, with these wonderful and inspired poets, we're raising their voices in collaboration with Whitman, and you will hear them tonight. So it's very exciting to be here together. Okay, happy listening, and let's let the films roll.
Stop.
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 Stop. Stop.
Stop this day and night.
Stop this day and night with me.
And you shall possess the origin of all poems.
I celebrate myself. 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 And what I assume, you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you.
I tramp a perpetual journey. My signs are a rainproof coat and good shoes. And a staff cut from the woods. No friend of mine takes his ease in my chair. I have no chair. Nor church, nor philosophy. I lead no man to a dinner table. Or library, or exchange of lives. Each man and each woman of you I lead upon a knoll. My left hand hooks you around the waist, and my right hand points to landscapes of continents. And a plain public road. Not I, not anyone else can travel that road for you. You must travel it for yourself. It is not far. It is within reach. Perhaps you have been on it since you were born and did not know. Perhaps it is everywhere, on water and on land. Shoulder your duds, and I will mine, and let us hasten forth. Wonderful cities and free nations we shall fetch as we go.
Have you dreamed contemptible dreams? Now I wash the gum from your eyes. Now I wash the gum from your eyes. You must habit yourself to the dazzle of the light and of every moment of your life. Timidly waded, holding a plank by the shore. Now, I will you to be a bold swimmer. Now, I will you to be a bold swimmer. Jump off in the midst of the sea, and rise again and nod to me, and shout, and laughingly dash with your hair.
Dormant and shallow as creeks seek that which no longer claim local names, celebrate the uncertainty, bewildering promise of aught, daydreaming of sugarcane and bamboo tresses extending bruised sky, clouds transcribing metronomes of beyond, a sip of sanctity from a green sea, the breath hollow and full as tomorrow. Favor the questions left unanswered. What happens when you tie katydids to a tree? Is esperanza fettered? Our words, our own salvation, or to be owned? Stop, day or night, and celebrate this journey. Frolic with me, do morning, and loaf as sun sets. Relinquish and souse with the unfamiliarity, the hostility of pulse, the dying greed to keep music tuned to our dissonance, the quiet chaos of young love indifferent to time, the battle call framed untamed of old love tethered by time. We were not born to blend, child, not as sea salt, hibiscus fronds, peppercorns, rooibos, elderberry. We smell of citrus grinds and tobacco leaves, the blossoming smell of sorrow to which our fingernails speak honey, fickle yet praising. When we learn to love the absence, the quiet, the disharmony, the world folds into its center a scathing rebirth, a cryptic call. We who wove parables into breath, a garden of ginger root for the meek, a glimmer for tomorrow in sake of history. Our words birth oceans of coral reefs, narrow and obsolete, yet whole, shallow whilst preserved, a cipher for finding equanimity. Today, we are the poets of the people, preaching how words sprawl and spun, our clemency for our wicked reality. Tomorrow, indulge and celebrate with me the inconspicuous, how a day unfolds a page for each of our powers, as an impotent, skimpy sky, blistered and coward conundrum, scabbing of the wounds. Who is to say the residue of hope, the lingering feeling of vastness, of open wells, solacing drought, doesn't call for drinking a cup of our waters? Still, leave the cup and the dream. Release the need for stitching at the loose seams. Remorse sprouts without a face as weeds. Indomitable how we seek presence, absent of dependence. Rise from the days, uncoiled into silence. Here, a city of war, painted as a Siam basil lemongrass tea, smeared onto our consciousness to remind ourselves the fragrance of stillness, the laughter of the voices within, the victory of the mundane. Still celebrate all which is out of our hands.
The blab of the pave, the tires of carts and slough of boot soles, and talk of the promenaders, the heavy omnibus, the driver with his interrogating thumb, and the clank of the shod horses on the granite floor, the carnival of sleighs, the clinking and shouted jokes, and pelts of snowballs, the hurrahs for popular favorites, the fury of the roused mob, the flap of the curtained litter, the sick man inside, borne to the hospital, the meeting of enemies,
the meeting of
the
enemies.
sudden oath,
The sudden oath.
the blows and fall,
The blows and fall.
the excited crowd,
The excited crowd. The policeman with the star, quickly working his
working faster to the center of the crowd.
the impassive stones that receive and return so many echoes, the souls moving along. Are they invisible? While the least atom of the stone is visible? What groans of the overfed and half-starved who fall on the flags, sunstruck or in fits? What exclamations of women taken suddenly who hurry home and give birth to babes? What howls restrained by decorum? Arrests of criminals, slights adulterous offers made, acceptances, rejections with convex lips.
I mind them, or the resonance.
I mind them, or the resonance of them.
I come again.
I come again.
And again.
And again.
28 young men bathe by the shore. 28 young men and also friendly. 28 years of womanly life and also lonesome. 28 young men bathe by the shore. 28 young men and also friendly. 28 years of womanly life and also lonesome. She owns the fine house by the rise of the bank. She hides handsome and richly dressed at the lines of the window. Which of the young men does she like the best? Of the holies of them is beautiful to her. Where are you off to, lady? For I see you splash in the water there. Yes, they stop still in your room. 28 young men bathe by the shore. 28 young men and also friendly. 28 years of womanly life and also lonesome. Dancing and laughing along the beach came the 29th bather. Dancing and laughing along the beach came the 29th bather. The rest did not see her, but she saw them and loved them and loved. 28 young men bathed by the shore. 28 young men and also friendly. 28 years of womanly life and also lonesome.
The beards of the young men glistened with wet. It ran from their long hair. Little streams passed all over their bodies. It ran from their long hair. An unseen hand also passed over their bodies. It descended tremblingly from their temples and their ribs. It descended tremblingly.
The young men
float on their back.
their white bellies
Their white bellies swell to the sun.
They do not ask who seizes
Do not ask who seizes fast to them.
They do not know who puffs
They do not know who puffs and declines with pendant and bending arms.
call in the midst of the crowd. My own voice, orotund, sweeping and final. My words are words of a questioning, and to indicate reality. This printed and bound book.
But the printer and the printing office boy.
The marriage of state and settlement.
But the body and mind of the bridegroom, also of the bride.
The panorama of the sea.
But the sea itself.
The well-taken photographs.
But your wife or friend close and solid in your arms.
The fleet of ships of the line and all the modern improvements.
But the craft and pluck of the admiral.
Dishes, fare, and furniture.
But the host and the hostess and the look out of their eyes.
Sky up there.
Here or next door or across the way.
The saints, the sages in history.
But you, yourself.
Sermons and creeds and theology.
Sermons and creeds and theology.
But the human brain and what we call reason and what we call love and what we call life.
This is the city, and I am one of its citizens. I call to its streets. The gray dust swirls around my feet as the morning light catches the midtown skyline in the distance. The call echoes off empty sidewalks, up brick walls, and hangs on dripping AC units, returning back to me. A street sweeper answers, cuts the avenue, spewing behind it the urban ash that stains the face of the person who sleeps on their sidewalk mattress of black bags and refuse. Back arced towards the sky, arms splayed out, index finger hanging off the side, reaching for God, a downtown God, a promising false God of hope and abundance, fueled by transplant residents, tech startups, and stock exchanges. My call fades as the city's cacophony builds, a titan waking up, slow and lumbering, but terrible and engulfing. The above-ground one thunders to life, careening on rusted tracks, throwing up metallic fireflies that drift down, die at our feet. The concrete abode accepts their blessing, their transfer of energy, and passes it along, to the grocer taking his cleaver to sugarcane, 6 inches apiece, wrapping it in wax paper, to the bus driver, red-eyed from the overnight shift, the brakes groaning as they turn a corner, to the fruit vendor, methodically setting up his crates, towering them higher each day, to the mother toting a small child to school, the straps of their backpack flopping with each step, to the construction crew, smelling of VapoRub, powering through slipped disc and sored joints. They each answer the call, the ubiquitous demand of rise and shine. This is their city, the city unseen by downtown gods who hide richly dressed in their studio apartments, behind dinner reservations and invite-only social clubs. Aware of my resonance with the unseen, I celebrate them. I feed their joy, our joy, send them my energy, our energy, and depart.
is the city.
This is the city.
This is the city.
This
This
is the city. And I am one of the citizens.
And I'm one of the citizens.
This is the city, and I am one of its citizens. Whatever interests the rest, interests me. Politics, churches, newspapers,
Schools.
Benevolent societies.
Improvements, banks, tariffs, steamships,
Factories, markets,
stocks and stores and real estate.
And personal estate.
Questa è la città.
Это город.
ये है शहर और मैं इस शहर का एक नागरिक हूँ.
Esta es la ciudad.
Voici la ville.
Das ist die Stadt.
هذه هي المدينة.
这就是那座城市。
Das ist die Stadt.
Io uno dei suoi cittadini.
Essa é a cidade.
وأنا أحد مواطنيه.
And whatever interests the rest interests me.
The pure contralto sings in the organ loft.
The carpenter dresses his plank. The tongue of his foreplane whistles its wild ascending list.
The married and unmarried children ride home to their Thanksgiving dinner.
The pilot seizes the kingpin. He heaves down with a strong arm.
The mate stands braced in the whaleboat. Lance and harpoon are ready.
The duck shooter walks by, silent and cautious, stretches.
The deacons are ordained with crossed hands at the altar.
The spinning girl retreats and advances to the hum of the big wheel.
The farmer stops by the bars of a Sunday and looks at the oats and rye.
The lunatic is carried at last to the asylum, a confirmed case.
He will never sleep anymore, as he did in the cot in his mother's bedroom.
The jeweler printer with gray hair and gaunt jaws works at his case.
He turns his quid of tobacco. His eyes get blurred with the manuscript.
The malformed limbs are tied to the anatomist's table.
What is removed drops horribly into a pail.
The bride unrumbles her white dress.
The minute hand of the clock moves slowly.
The opium eater reclines with rigid head and just opened lips.
The prostitute draggles her shawl.
Her bonnet bombs on her tipsy and pimpled neck.
The crowd laughs at her blackguard oaths.
The men cheer and wink to each other.
Miserable! I do not laugh at your oaths, nor jeer you.
The president holds a cabinet council.
He is surrounded by the great secretary.
On the piazza walk 5 friendly matrons with twined arms. The crew of the fish smack pack repeated layers of halibut in the hold.
The quadroon girl is sold at the stand.
The drunkard nods by the barroom stove.
The machinist rolls up his sleeves.
The policeman travels his beat.
The gatekeeper marks who pass.
The young fellow drives the express wagon.
I love him, though I do not know him.
I love him, though I do not know him.
I love him.
I love
Though
him.
I do not know
I
him.
do not know him.
I love him.
I love
Though
him.
I do not know him.
Though I do not know him.
The city sleeps, and the country sleeps.
The living sleep for their time, the dead sleep for their time. The old husband sleeps by his wife,
And the young husband sleeps by his is why, and these one and all tend inward to me,
and I tend outward to them. And such as it is to be of these, more or less I
Each world after Whitman's houses further worlds, worlds away from the tides that beat against the city's shores, this city that insists on itself and insists on inclusion. But outside the city, the world's citizens inhabit mountains, rivers, caves, and skies. They live in jungles and forests, where each tree trunk reaches deep through its roots, aching to make contact with the ancestors. Each branch growing fiercely toward another, lifting up and up like the most beautiful Brooklyn Bridge. Every citizen doing their best to survive this modern mess. Pick up the magnifying glass and you'll see me, not in the city today, but at Ausable Brewery, with a beer and a love nearing sunset out back of the barn, leaves wishing in the breeze as they do, clover fields and radishes, some honey for the toast. And in another moment, in the kitchen, I'll find love in sweatpants, whipping butter with the blue cheese from the farm down the road, and something is on TV. The old terrier is in her bed, and the poodle at my feet. The schnauzer in a room of his own, but still with us in his own way. Now look up, and it's face after face on the downtown A. Some covered by surgical masks, but the eyes still finding citizenry with the rest, with the we.
Bravo! Bravo les médecins!
This is the trill of 1,000 clear cornets and scream of the octave flute and strike of triangles.
I play not a march for victor's own. I play great marches for conquered and slain persons. Have you heard?
Have you heard
that it was good to gain the day?
that it was good to gain the day?
Well, I also say it is good to fall. Battles are lost in the same spirit in which they are won.
I sound triumphal drums for the dead. I fling through my embouchures the loudest and gayest music to them. Viva!
Vivas!
Vivas.
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 To those who have failed.
And to those whose war vessels sank in the sea.
And those themselves who sank in the sea.
And to all generals that lost engagements.
And
to all
overcome heroes.
And the numberless
unknown heroes equal to the greatest heroes known.
I am he that walks with the tender and growing night.
I call to the earth and sea half held by the night. Press close, bare-bosomed night. Press close, magnetic, nourishing night.
Night of the south winds. Night of the large few stars.
Still nodding night.
Mad, naked summer night. Smile!
Oh,
voluptuous, cool-breathed earth. Earth of the slumbering and liquid trees.
Earth of the departed sunset. Earth of the mountains, misty topped.
Tierra del cristalino fluir de la luna llena apenas tocada de azul. Tierra del brillo y de la sombra.
Del brillo
manchando
y de la sombra, moldeando la corriente del río. Tierra del gris límpido.
Gris límpido. Las nubes que resplandecen y se aclaran para que yo las vea.
Para que yo las vea. Tierra
yacente y extendida.
Rica tierra de azares.
Rica tierra de azares. Sonríe. Que llega tu amante.
Que llega tu amante.
Prodigal.
Prodigal.
You have given me love.
You have given me love.
Therefore, I, to you, give love. Oh, unspeakable.
Unspeakable.
Passionate.
Passionate.
Love.
Love.
What is the grass?
A child said,
What is the grass?
fetching it to me with full hands. How could I answer the child? I do not know what it is any more than he.
What is the grass?
I guess it must be the flag of my disposition out of hopeful green stuff woven.
Or I guess it is the handkerchief of the Lord, a scented gift, designedly dropped, bearing the owner's names some way in the corners, that we may see and remark and say, whose?
Or, I guess the grass is itself a child, the produced babe of the vegetation.
Or, I guess, it is the uniform hieroglyphic.
And it means sprouting alike in broad zones and narrow zones, growing among black folks as among white, Canuck, Tuckahoe, Congressman, Cuff. I give them the same, I receive the same.
And now it seems to me the beautiful uncut hair.
Beautiful uncut hair
of graves.
Of graves.
Tenderly will I use you, curling grass. It may be you transpire from the breasts of young men. It may be if I had known them, I would have loved them. It may be you are from old people and from women and from offspring taken soon out of their mother's laps. And here you are the mother's laps.
This grass is very dark to be from the white heads of old mothers.
Darker than the colorless beards of old men, dark to come from under the faint roofs of mouths.
Oh, I perceive after all so many uttering tongues, and I perceive they do not come from the roofs of mouths for nothing. I wish I could translate the hints about the dead young men and women, and the hints about old men and mothers and the offspring taken soon out of their laps.
What do you think has become of the old and young men? And what do you think has become of the women and children?
They are alive and well somewhere. The smallest sprout shows there's really no death. And if there was, it led forward life and does not wait at the end to arrest it and cease the moment life appeared. All goes onward and outward, and nothing collapses. And to die is different from what anyone supposed, and luckier. Has anyone supposed it lucky to be born? I hasten to inform him or her it is just as lucky to die. And I know it.
Rome Roof Elegy. The rooftop in Rome yields a surprise. Italian school children, ballroom dancing in gym class. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sounds like a waltz, and I wonder if they're bossy like I was, the only time I tried to learn and couldn't stop leading. I pray the rosary with a guide sheet because I've forgotten how. But people are ending their lives, and I'm rusty in the department of spiritual blessings, and the world is too. I repeat the same bead again and again. One of my students killed herself a few weeks ago. No memorial to organize grief. Hardly anyone read the memo. When crows surround the rooftop, I'm paying attention. They followed me from America to Rome. I see them everywhere after they tried to warn me against the nor'easter that dropped a tree on my house. And I, inside, too stunned to move. I bought the crow earrings at the fair, talismans to keep me safe. And now I wish I'd hung them from that New York bridge before she jumped. The crows know that I've always needed saving, my potential for destruction so real, as if it's already happened. The music in the schoolyard switches. It's Queen and Bowie's Under Pressure, so the buttoned-up dancers can let loose before that day's geometry proofs and spelling lists. That ska opening fools me into levity, but I know what's coming. I wonder if those Italian kids understand the lyrics. It's the terror of knowing what this world is about. On the largesse of the rooftop, Rome remakes itself like it has for 1,000 mornings. I'm not scared of decay. The ruins are unremarkable, graffitied and overgrown with summer's flashy poppies. Our bodies, too, disintegrate as a matter of course. But it's the terror of the mind that cuts me off at the knees, because even if I can't name it, I know the consequence of not getting out. I wish I could have brought my student to this Rome rooftop where we could hurl song lyrics over the side and dance our asses off, and where we could have given ourselves one more day, one more chance.
Did you read in the sea books of the old-fashioned frigate fight? Did you learn who won? By the light of the moon and stars.
Stretched and still lay the midnight. Two great hulls, motionless, on the breast of the darkness.
Our vessels, riddled and slowly sinking. Preparations to pass to the one we had conquered.
The captain on the quarterdeck,
coldly giving his orders through a countenance
white as a sheet.
Nearby, corpse of the child that served the cabin.
The dead face of an old salt with long, white hair.
And carefully curled whiskers.
The flames, in spite of all that could be done, flickering aloft and below. The husky voices of 2 or 3 officers, yet fit for duty.
Formless stacks of bodies by themselves.
Dabs of flesh upon the masts and spars.
The cut of cordage and dangle of rigging. The slight shock of the soothe of waves.
The slight shock of the soothe of waves.
Black and impassive guns.
And litter of powder parcels.
And the strong scent.
Delicate sniffs of the sea breeze.
Smells of sedgy grass and fields by the shore.
Death messages given in trust to survivors.
The surgeon's knife.
And the gnawing teeth of his song. The wheeze.
The clock. The swash of falling death. The short lines. The long, dull, tapering green.
These so.
These.
Let us stand up.
Let us stand up.
Stand up.
What is known, I strip away. I launch all men and women forward with me into the unknown.
I do not despise you, priests. My faith is the greatest of faiths and the least of faiths. refusing all worship ancient and modern, and all between ancient and modern, believing I shall come again upon the earth after 5,000 years. Responses from oracles, honor the gods, saluting the sun. A fetish of the first rock or stump, with sticks in the circle of obis, the lama or Brahmin as he trims the lamps of the idol. Dancing yet through the streets in a phallic procession, wrapped and austere in the woods, a gymnosophist. Drinking mead from the skull cup to Shasta and Veda's admirant, minding the Koran. Walking the Teocalli, spotted with gore from a stone and knife. Beating the serpent skin drum, beating the serpent skin drum. Accepting the Gospels, accepting him that was crucified, knowing assuredly that he is divine. Belonging to the winders of the circuit of circuits, belonging to the winders of the circuit of circuits, belonging to the winders of the circuit of circuits, belonging to the winders of the circuit of circuits, belonging to the winders of the circuit of circuits.
Oh, Vimeo, Vimeo, permit me this stammering ink, this lopsided opera, this song of myself in Chardonnay slacks, even with a gull on a plank, stoic as weather-pinched wood. Equally silent yet beige, where does the Liberty Landing dock when she rises and fingers a pink recorder in a brownstone's hip pocket? Note this stand-up rim shot as all things ancient and uttered abandon the meter. A voice swells, a bellow which stokes a verbal furnace. Surely you sense her lungs' flexible weather, a chorus's haunt. Voices beneath her are a bed of 9 breaths her breath tosses upon. To seascape, to landscape, to cityscape, we escape this urban dervish, this Whitman Stonehenge, this dizzying vision of a lens's pirouette. Penny whistle ye priests, cinematic apparitions. Oh, river, wet, skittish stream, startled by the a cappella groan of a mast. A salty goatee digs a chin into a violin's hip. Famished and barren, permit me the song of a lacquered shelf. Permit me a familiar face and the sound of a deep voice cementing the same. Rucks and torn. Listen to these tongues that traffic in fondue and rondelay. Listen to the strings sob and stomp their smelly melody, their jig and twang. Seven will ask an auburn question. So what of Lucky? Note the river, now a Brando jacket. Sailing will cause its leather to stretch. If we tinker, will waves break into a million zippers? Will those who abandon throb and thought be seduced by the multitude? Note the tender stars beside me when I arrive drenched in nothing and never. When I accept the mind plunging headlong into the abyss. Forgive me, winter, for lilacs must bloom in the dooryard again.
I teach straying from me. Yet who can stray from me? I follow you, whoever you are, from this present hour.
My words itch at your ears till you understand them.
I do not say these things for $1 or to fill up the time while I wait for a boat.
It is you talking as much as myself. I act as the tongue of you. It was tied in your mouth. In mine, it begins to be loosened.
In mine, it begins to be loosened.
I have said that the soul is not more than the body.
And I have said that the body is not more than the soul.
And nothing, not God, is greater to one than oneself is. And whoever walks a furlong without
sympathy walks to his own funeral, dressed in a shroud.
And I, or you, pocketless of a dime, may purchase the pick of the earth.
And I or you, pocketless of a dime, can purchase the pick of the earth. And to glance with an eye or show a beam in its pod confounds the learning of old times.
And there is no employment, but the young man following it may become a hero.
And there is no object so soft.
There is no object so soft.
But it makes a hub.
Hub for the wheeled universe. And any man or woman.
Any man or woman shall stand cool and supercilious.
Before a million universes.
Before a million universes.
And I call to mankind, be not curious about God.
For I, who am curious about each, am not curious about God.
No array of terms can say how much I am at peace about God and about death.
I hear and behold God in every object. Yet I understand God not in the least. Nor do I understand who there can be more wonderful than myself.
Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of the hour of the 24 hours, and each moment then, in the faces of men and women, I see God, and in my own face in the glass, I find letters from God
dropped in the street.
I find letters from God dropped in the street.
And everyone is signed by God's name.
By God's name.
And I leave them where they are. For I know that others will punctually come forever and ever.
Forever and ever. Forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
And ever.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
I speak the password, primeval. I give the sign of democracy. By God, I will accept nothing which all cannot have their counterpart of on the same terms. Through me, many long, dumb voices. Voices of the interminable generations of slaves. Voices of prostitutes and of deformed persons. Voices of the diseased and despairing, and of thieves and dwarfs. Voices of cycles of preparation and accretion, and of the threads that connect the stars, and of wombs, and of the father stuff, and of the rights of them the others are down upon, of the trivial and foolish and flat and despised, of fog in the air, and beetles rolling balls of dung. Through me, forbidden voices. Voices of sexes and lusts. Voices veiled, and I remove the veil. Voices indecent by me, clarified and transfigured. I do not press my finger across my mouth. I hold as delicate around the bowels as around the head and heart. Copulation is no more rank to me than death is. I believe in the flesh and the appetites. Seeing, hearing, and feeling are miracles, and each part and tag of me is a miracle. Divine am I inside and out, and I make holy whatever I touch, or am touched from. The scent of these armpits is aroma finer than prayer. The head is more than churches, or Bibles, or creeds.
Immense have been the preparations for me. Faithful and friendly the arms that have helped me. Cycles ferried my cradle, rowing and rowing like cheerful boatmen. For room to me the stars kept aside in their own rings. They sent influences to look after what was to hold me.
Before I was born out of my mother, generations guided me. My embryo has never been torn. Nothing could overlay it.
For it the nebula cohere to an orb, the long slow strata piled to rest it on. Vast vegetables gave it sustenance. Monstrous sauroids transported it in their mouths and deposited it with care.
All forces have been steadily employed to complete and delight me. Now I stand on
Rearranging the letters from God in the street. Anxiety rests in my shoulders and threads itself into my muscles until there are only knots. Happiness is in my left eye, shuddering it more than my right eye when I smile. Restlessness is my fingers, always picking, tapping, twisting, ticking in time with the clock. I am my body, and my body is me. When death becomes me, I am not sure I will be ready to deal with what this unity means. Anger births the lump in my throat and chokes me until I cry. Concentration is my teeth, gnawing the inside of my cheeks, crafting dents on my tongue from chewing in the same place over and over, just like my great-grandfather used to. I am my body, and my body is me. If only this was something I didn't have to work so hard to believe. There is an exactness to the ways in which I, the body, become divorced from myself, the soul, when I move about in the world, but no one will teach me how to stop it. A look from outer space. As a kid, I spent a lot of time messing with light switches, trying to figure out at which exact moment, at what angle the light went from on to off. Someone has the answer, but it's not me. The body is so good at protecting the soul, even when souls are unforgiving. Scar tissue is the body's unrelenting love. Now tell me the soul never relents, never wavers. Tell me how altered bodies sell flat tummy teas with a free gift of self-loathing. Tell me love is unrelenting then. Tell me about elders hatcheted in the street and kids pulverized in school. Tell me love is unrelenting then. Tell me about a neck under a knee, followed by riot gear meeting marching feet. Tell me love is unrelenting then. Tell me when choice is stripped away by 5 sets of hands, how potential life is more important than your own. Tell me love is unrelenting then. I'm not sure what to do with this divide, with this dissonance. I just know it exists. There is a poem that offers answers, but it isn't this one. Miracle is such a big word when the miracle makers are no more. What is a miracle besides another name for good fortune these days? And wouldn't it be good fortune if I was still convinced the soul and the body could always be one and the same?
Whoever degrades another degrades me.
A few idly owning, and they the wheat continually claiming.
You there, impotent, loosen the knees. Open your scarf chops till I blow grit within you.
Many sweating and plowing and thrashing, and then the chaff for payment receiving.
Our rendezvous is fitly appointed.
I act as the tongue of you. It was tied in your mouth.
Long enough have you dreamed contemptible dreams.
Do you see, oh my brothers and sisters?
My words itch at your ears till you understand them.
Tickets buying or taking or selling, but into the feast, never once going.
My God. Nothing which all cannot have their counterpart of on the same terms.
Do I contradict myself? Very well then, I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes.
The spotted hawk swoops by, and accuses
complains of my gab.
Complains of my gab, and my loitering.
I too am not a bit tamed.
I too am untranslatable.
I sound my barbaric yawp over the roofs of the world.
The last scattered of day holds back from me.
It flings my likeness after the rest, and true as any on the shadowed wilds, it coaxes me to the vapor and the dust.
When I depart this air, I shake my white locks of runaway sun. Diffuse my flesh in eddies and drift it in. Hasty jazz.
I bequeath myself to the dirt, to grow from the grass I love. If you want me again, look for me under your boot soles.
You will hardly know who I am or what I mean, but I shall be good health to you nevertheless, and filter and fiber your blood.
Failing to fetch me at first, keep encouraged. Missing me one place, search another.
I stop somewhere waiting for you.
I celebrate myself, and what I assume, you shall assume, for every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you.
When the time comes, if we should part. When the time comes, if we should ever part, and one of us is left on this earthly plane to fight on without the other, I too bequeath myself to the grass beneath your feet. To the breeze, to the sea, to the vapors of she who more or less is me. And hope for my ashes to mingle with the ashes of our mother, to settle into the dust and the rain, to find refuge in the bones of our father and his father and his mother. Do not disrespect us with a crooked sign, though we need no sign. For who else but the descendants of the dispossessed shall know what endless love is, what true love is, what honor is, to be remembered or forgotten or self-written into the poetics of the oppressed poet, to right the wrongs, poet, expose the lies, poet, tell on them and tell it well, poet, dance, 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 vaya, in the burning of the uncovered truths, poet, unsmothered, as they scratch their heads and wonder why, and reel, double over, in abuelas swapiti, boom, boom, chakalaka, boom, chakalaka, boom, chakalaka, boom, chakalaka. When I say boom, y'all say chakalaka. Boom, 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 chakalaka. Booming in the boomerang, poet. Every atom of this bronze body belongs to me. Every atom of your body belongs to you, sweet honeybee. The goings on beneath our sartorial undergarments are of no concern to the high court, your grace. For who else but us will know the echo of resistance, hear the memory of our laughter, our wonder twin cackles from the cradle to the grave, from the womb to the tomb and beyond, beyond the majestic sunrise and blooming moonflowers, where the stars aligned and the zodiac on the midsummer night when we were born, cross my heart and hope to die, never forgetting that my true love was always you. We shall revel in the victory that we brought each other peace. If we ever do part, I will find you on the other side of the rainbow. Bet your life on that and my endless love. Whoever wishes to look for us, forget the whirlwind. Look there.